So hi, Rich Brazil here. A lot of our producers are asking, how can I grow my herd? That's a popular request. I just want to show you how to do that on your own ranch. We have a sample ranch entered here, and let me just bring up some of the reports, bring up whatever reports you'd like. I'm just bringing up a few here. So we're looking at growing the herd. Right now, you can see the profit expectations for the current plan. Year one, almost $111,000, increasing each year to almost 170 according to current expectations and current plan. But say you want to grow your herd. There's two different ways basically that you can do that. First, you can grow gradually, just either saving more replacement heifers or purchasing more heifers each year, or all at once. You can grow rapidly, and that's by just simply purchasing cows and bulls to expand your herd right from the beginning. So let's look at the first way, gradual growth. So just make a scenario, call it gradual growth, and you can see it repopulates, brings up another herd alongside your current plan. So when you want to grow, obviously the very first question is, do I have the grass to do that? Do I have the carrying capacity so that I can expand my herd? If you don't, you need to also factor in acquiring more forage, however you might do that. Maybe you might want to get a lease. Maybe you might want to purchase land. Maybe you might want to implement better grazing management, virtual fencing, or some intensive grazing management, or irrigation, or what have you. So assuming you have additional grass, the question is, how much grass do you have? And that kind of depends on your experience. But this grazing report shows you what you're using now. So right now, the ranch, according to what you're doing and according to what you plan to be doing, you're using nearly just about 4,000 grazing unit months per year. That's what you're using. And if you have extra capacity, and again, that's going to be based on your experience and judgment running cattle on your place. But maybe you say, well, I think I could expand by 10%. I think I could carry 20% more or 30%, whatever that might be. Assuming you have extra carrying capacity, you simply need to decide that. On this ranch, let's assume that the producer says, I think I'm running about 75% capacity. I could expand by about 25%. Right now, he's consuming 4,000 grazing unit months. That means he could comfortably carry about 5,000 grazing unit months, an additional 1,000 grazing unit months. How can he best use that? So if he wants to grow gradual, the first question is it more cost effective to raise those replacements or to purchase them? This replacement cost report is very, very helpful for that. It tells you what it's costing you to produce a 2-month bred female. That's all costs included: cash costs, non-cash costs, opportunity costs, adjustments for death loss, adjustments for infertility, everything. This producer on this operation, this unique ranch, it's costing $3,088.71 to produce a 2-month bred female. What's he expecting it to cost him to buy them? And his expectation is that he's going to have to pay $3,550 buy a bred heifer. That's nearly $500 more than it costs him to raise them. So assuming those are comparable animals, it's going to be much better for him to simply raise more breeding replacements. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's increase that to 60%. And then we can see the new growth in his herd numbers. Year one at 180, he's going to be at 256 by year 5. But how much grass does that consume? Remember, he expects to be able to carry about 5,000 grazing unit months, and he's not quite there at 60%. So let's go to 65%. 65%. Now he's going to be at about 5,000. It's going to take him 5 years to get up to that capacity. So he's gradually growing. In 5 years, he's going to reach his limit. And the question is, what does that do to his profitability? Here you can compare this new plan and you can see the difference in profitability. So before, in year one, he was going to make almost $111,000. Now in year one, he's going to make 126, about a $15,000 increase in profit in year one. Year two, it's about a $4,000 increase in profit. Year three, about $37,000. By year 5, it's a $60,000 a year profit. So that it's clearly advantageous, if what he says is true, if these expectations are correct, clearly he's going to be more profitable to grow even gradually versus what he's doing right now. Now let's take a look at doing that rapidly. So make a new scenario, and that new scenario is rapid growth. So we repopulate, and he's going to just buy these animals, and we're going to guess he might want to grow by 60 head from 122 cows to 182. And he's going to need to purchase a couple bulls to keep the same bull cow ratio. We just hit save. Now let's look at our grazing. We see he's a little bit high. We can see by year 2 that's a little high. Let's drop that down by, say, 5 cows. So purchase 55 head. And now let's look at our grazing. And now that's right about 5,000 where he thinks his limit is. Now he's got to buy those. So he could either cash in some assets if he has assets to do that. He could also finance that if he needs to. He's going to be buying 55 cows. He's assuming that they're costing 4,000 a piece. That's 220,000. He's going to have to buy 2 bulls as well at 8,000 a piece, 16,000. So that's $236,000 that he would need to take a loan out for to grow all at once. Let's say new cattle loan. And let's say he wants to pay it off in 5 years, and he can get that at 6.5% interest, say, or whatever it is. And he would enter that. And now he's buying those animals. He now has, 237 cattle at the beginning instead of what he had before. And let's look at his new profit and loss projections compared to what he was doing. And you can see a pretty big increase right off the bat from 111,000 to 150,000, almost a $40,000 increase in year 1. What's 33,000 increase in year 2. By year 5, that's about a $50,000 increase in profit. So that's considerably better than the previous scenario with gradual growth. For him, it's going to be much better to grow rapidly by purchasing those cattle, taking out that loan. It's going to be much more advantageous to do that. So that's the situation if he has extra capacity. Now, what if he doesn't? What if he has to acquire more forage, either, however he might want to further develop the forage resource? One way would be to take out a lease, but you could really look at virtually anything here. But let's assume he's having to take out a lease. He needs 1,000 grazing units. Let's say it's going to cost 25,000. That's a cash overhead. He would simply enter it here. Now he's purchased that extra 1,000 grazing units. And now let's compare that gradual plan to the rapid plan. And you can see he's actually going to be behind about $10,000 in year 1. He's going to be behind 22,000 in year 2. He's going to break even by year 3. He's not going to begin to make more profit until year 4 or 5, and that's down the road. And kind of in that 5-year period, it's almost a wash. So that's probably not worth doing for him to do it gradually if he has to acquire a new lease. But let's look at rapid growth. Same situation. He now has to acquire that 1,000 grazing unit months. Again, we'll enter that same $25,000 lease. And now let's save that and see how he does now, even though he had to lease that ground and he had to take out a loan to purchase more cattle. Now, how does it work? He's already up in year 1, almost a $15,000 increase in profit in year 1. It's a $7,000 increase in profit in year 2, 20,000 by year 3, 25,000 in year 4, and about 31,000. So close to a $90,000 net increase in profit over 5 years, even if he has to lease ground. If he is growing rapidly, as we saw in this situation, it's not going to be profitable to do that gradually, but it would be profitable to do this rapidly. And, every ranch is different. All your numbers are different. So that's what we're finding for this guy. You would need to put your own numbers in here. But then, as we've seen just in a few minutes, you can check that out. and make a plan to increase your profitability. You can do this for your place. It only takes a few minutes, as you've seen. You could check out gradual growth, rapid growth. You could check out purchasing your own heifers or keeping more replacements. You could look at purchasing all those animals right away or any combination thereof. You can all do that pretty quickly, figure out a plan. One last thing I want to, let's look at the cash flow here. What's the cash flow situation? And you can see still pretty liquid, 603 in, 464 out, then over $150,000 positive cash flow, and it's only growing from there. In year 5, 829 versus $335,000 positive cash flow. Pretty good there. Gradual growth. Let's look at our cash flow. 537 in, 390 out, so about 140,000 positive cash flow in year 1, and again, it's growing throughout. So that plan would be feasible to do, but like we saw, it's not profitable to do. So I hope that helps. You can do this and a heck of a lot more, but just wanted to show you this. Thank you.